Christianity is coming back into public schools, and we need to talk about it. And that leads us to our state-by-state adventure of discovering all the different horrible, crazy legislation that is, again, combining religion and public education. Now, the first state that we have to talk about is West Virginia. In 2024, so that was just last year, West Virginia passed the Intelligent Design Bill. It is a very short amendment to the law stating that a public school teacher essentially can't be limited on what they talk about regarding the origin of the universe. It simply says, and I quote, "No public school board, school superintendent, or school principal shall prohibit a public school classroom teacher from discussing or answering questions from students about scientific theories of how the universe and or life came to exist." Now, when I first read this, I didn't see a problem with this. Technically, intelligent design, as the bill is called Intelligent Design Bill. Technically, intelligent design isn't a scientific theory. Okay? And the law specifically says that you can't inhibit a teacher from discussing questions about scientific theories, about the origin of the universe. So intelligent design isn't a scientific theory. So I don't see the problem with this or how it's connected to intelligent design. Okay? And to clarify, intelligent design isn't a theory. It is an untestable claim. Okay. I claim that an intelligent designer created or had a hand in creating the universe. And this is an untestable claim because we don't have some intelligent designer or some deity that we can just say, hey, we need to do an experiment. Let's test this theory. It's a claim and we can't test it. So it is therefore an untestable claim. It is not a scientific theory. It is not backed by evidence. It is not backed by observations and experiments that people have carried out. Okay, it is by definition not a scientific theory. So this bill, which does not prohibit a teacher from talking about scientific theories about the origin of the universe, does nothing essentially. I mean, legally, it does nothing. It says you can talk about different scientific theories, and intelligent design isn't one of them. However, the law is dubbed the Intelligent Design Law. Why? Because of the intent behind it. Okay, it was intended as a way to open up in-class conversation about intelligent design. And might I add, there's a whole nother case that we didn't talk about that happened in 2005. It was a federal ruling on the case Kitzmiller versus Dover Area School District, and it found that teaching about intelligent design as an alternative to evolution was unconstitutional as it expresses a Christian viewpoint. So that's a nice little tidbit of information that perhaps supports the idea that this bill is unconstitutional in its intent. In its language, it's not unconstitutional because it does nothing. But in its intent to open up the conversation about intelligent design, it could potentially be unconstitutional. And this so-called Intelligent Design Bill, as I said, it was passed. It was made into law. While the intent behind it is clearly unconstitutional, the bill itself does virtually nothing. The issue, though, is that teachers who are potentially aware of this bill may use it as an excuse to promote intelligent design because they believe it is an actual scientific theory. And I say that because I sure as hell would have as a Christian. I would have been, oh my gosh, we can talk about intelligent design. I'm going to share this with my students. This is so amazing. I'm going to add this into the lesson. I totally would have done it. Totally, 100%. I would have been over the moon to hear that we could talk about intelligent design in the classroom. And unfortunately, that seems to be just what is happening because guess what? The bill's sponsor is Senator Amy Grady, who is also a public school teacher. Yay! She has said, and I quote, "I've had teachers reach out to me in support of this bill because they felt that in their science classes that they cannot answer questions from students." Now, I have some more questions about this. What questions from students can't teachers answer? And also, why can't they answer them? How hard is it to provide a simple explication? How hard is it to provide a simple explanation like, I don't know. Well, we can't know for certain about the origin of the universe because nobody was there. However, one theory, like the Big Bang Theory, is backed by extensive scientific research. Some people believe in things like intelligent design, but scientifically, that is not a theory because it is an untestable claim. And then you could go into the difference between a theory and a claim. See what I did there? I acknowledged a system of belief. I acknowledged an idea that perhaps a student might have asked about. I acknowledged it. It exists. People believe in it. I explained why we're not going to discuss it. And then I redirected into a discussion about a theory versus claim. Is it really that hard to do? Is it really that hard as a teacher to redirect the conversation away from something that maybe a teacher shouldn't be talking about? Or something that, I don't know, might cross some lines? Is it really that hard to redirect? What are they doing when students ask them about their political affiliations? Are they explaining, are they giving like a 5-minute thesis on why they voted a certain way? Teachers are supposed to be able to redirect. And if they're not, I have to question their teaching abilities. And if the issue isn't that they aren't capable of redirecting, then I have to assume that the issue is that they don't want to redirect. And that's a bigger issue because then teachers are specifically looking for opportunities to share their own personal views. Okay. And when they could clearly redirect. Guys, it's not that hard. And because it's not that hard, I think that they don't want to redirect. They want an excuse to talk about this. And even if they don't openly admit it, I speak as an ex-Christian educator. I would have subconsciously or potentially consciously wanted an excuse to talk about it. Okay. Yeah, I could have used the excuse, well, I can't just openly ignore their questions. I can't do this, when honestly I could have easily redirected. And that is how I would have reacted as a Christian educator. Now this bill, which has turned into a law, also received some support from students because they said that their teachers fear for their careers if they inform students about intelligent design. And again, I have to wonder how this topic keeps coming up. I have to wonder. Scientifically, and I repeat, scientifically, intelligent design is not a theory. It is not in science books, at least the books that should be used in public schools. So it has to be either persistent questions from the students or a hidden motive from the teachers who want to share their ideas and opinions and thoughts about intelligent design. If it is the former, then my explication, oh my gosh. If it is the former, then my explanation about theory versus claim would be simple and easy to use. And that's a great scientific, non-religious, non-affiliated way to answer. You're acknowledging something and moving on. And if it is the latter, aka teachers who want to promote a specific idea, then again, like I said, we have some major problems. Now, when this bill was passed, it was passed alongside another sketchy bill, which, to be honest, it's not unconstitutional. In other words, it is constitutional. Sorry for my double negative there. But it is interesting. Okay, so this bill was passed alongside Bill 152 that states that all schools must display in an obvious space in the classroom a poster with the motto, "In God We Trust." Okay, and I'm going to get into why putting posters in school with this stuff is just ridiculous in another state conversation. But again, technically this bill is constitutional because the national motto is "In God We Trust." Okay, it shouldn't be the country's motto, but again, that's a conversation for another day. But I go back to the interesting thing. These two bills were passed together. Okay, one bill about the poster with "In God We Trust" and the other bill dubbed the Intelligent Design Bill. Okay, both were passed together. Interestingly, both of these bills were presented the year before they were passed, and they were rejected. Okay, both of them failed to pass. The second time around, they were passed into law. Could this speak toward a shift toward religion being more accepted in public schools? Yes, I would say absolutely. This video looks at one state's legislation regarding education and religion. If you want to watch the whole video about how Christianity is coming back into public schools, check out the link in the description below.